I want this book baby to just be a burst of joy and inspiration and serve so many people. I really believe that this practice can nourish and sustain us through these really challenging times that we're living in, and to propel us into more acts of courageous kindness.
Welcome to Now What, a podcast for women in midlife navigating reinvention, identity, and what's next. I'm your host, Melissa, and around here we keep it honest, unfiltered, and always find a reason to laugh. Because midlife isn't a crisis, it's just a plot twist. Let's go. The Lost Squad. If your sex life has hit a 10 on the boredom scale, if intimacy feels more like another item on the to-do list, or if you love your partner but you're thinking, how did we get so disconnected and how do we fix it? This episode, my friends, is for you. Because today we are talking about pleasure, play, and connection, and a weekly practice designed to bring the spark back on purpose. Today's guest is Elana Auerbach, author of The Sure Thing, a pleasure practice to revive the spark. And right out of the gate, I want to be crystal clear. This is not a passive read. It is an interactive playbook, and the goal is to help couples actually do the work by creating a simple, realistic weekly pleasure practice that removes pressure and rebuilds connection. So Gloss Squad, turn up the volume and join me in welcoming to Now What, Elana Auerbach. Woo! Welcome to the pod.
Oh, what a pleasure to be here.
Oh my gosh, I was so excited when you reached out. First of all, your book is beautiful. Here it is with a beautiful purple cover. Yes, The Sure Thing, a pleasure practice to revive the spark. And I can't wait to get into it. But first off, I want to back up a little bit. What was happening in your own relationship or life that made you realize something had to change, which obviously then inspired you to share your wisdom with all of us?
Yeah. Well, it was a 12-year struggle, Melissa. I mean, it was really after we had the kid. It's such a common story. But you don't even need to have kids. In long-term relationships, it is inevitable that unless we tend to and practice intimacy, the intimacy is going to wane. The sexual, sensual connection will wane. It just happens. It happens 100% across the board, really. So for anybody out there who's, and there are many of us, who suffer in silence and shame, feeling like it's not supposed to be this way. Why? It was so hot. We were so close for those first couple years, the first however long it was. And we think that that's supposed to last. And yeah, so.
No, totally. No, go ahead. Keep going.
Okay, so we had the child, and then we had other priorities. And our cosmic coitus that used to be super hot, super fabulous, just kind of took a way back in the bus seat. And we tried different things. We tried, toys. We tried sexpert advice. We tried books. We tried this. We tried that. The candle on the mantle. If somebody was feeling it, light the candle. So then if the other one was feeling it, then they make the move. But it was all too construed and contrived. And it never worked. Nothing ever stuck. And there was a buildup of resentment, of rage in me. I had this tone that I would use with my partner who I love.
Right.
And yet I'd be like I think this is why so many of us end up becoming that domineering wife, right? That's just nagging on the guy who they want to serve us, they want to please us, and yet when they get the nag, it just kind of cuts them off at the knees, and then they're like, fuck you. I don't want to do that anymore. So I was just embodying that archetype of I was angry, I was frustrated, and in 2018, I was talking to a friend, And that's when we came up with this weekly sure thing, having a
Yes.
weekly pleasure practice. However, there was so much gunk and withholds and resentment built up between my spouse and I that it would take almost 2 years for me to invite him into the practice. So it was December 2020. And what propelled me to action was committing to my friend. I'm telling my friend, we're both kind of bitching about our marriages. And then it was like, enough already. And I said, you know what? I have this idea. I don't know if it'll work, but I've been wanting to invite my spouse into this for a long time. And I commit to you that by the winter solstice, which is the longest night of the year in December in the Northern Hemisphere, I will invite him in. And so as the days are getting shorter and I'm getting nervous and I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
on Saturdays, our kid had a drum lesson. And so it was that Saturday, winter solstice was the next day. I had no more time, so I did it. And so I gave her some advice because she was having issues with her spouse. So I said, in that, afterglow, after you've made love. And so
Mhm.
I took the same advice and said, okay, invited my spouse into our bedroom, lit a candle, ritualized it with some essential oils, and then we made love. And afterwards, I said, hey, baby, how would you like to deepen in intimacy, pleasure, and connection every week together? And he was like, sounds great, sugar. And so that just began this rhythm of every week. At the time, like I said, our kid had the drum lesson. So it was okay, that was the drum beat. Okay, he's doing his thing and
Or
we're
the
in the bedroom.
symbolism of that actually
Right?
is amazing. That's actually wild. So 2 things get brought up quickly. Um, Number 1, you said, which I think is super interesting because I think it's more common than we think. You were nervous to invite your spouse in, yet you had been with your spouse for many, many years, correct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For 25 years. Well, we've been together now for 25 years. At the time of 20 years, we've been together.
Right. So what do you think, our spouses have seen us the good, the bad, the ugly, but I love that you brought up though you were what were you nervous of rejection?
Yeah.
What do you think why were you nervous to bring him in? Because I think any partner that said, "Hey, you wanna do this weekly?" I mean, it would be like, "It's about time you friggin' asked." But I think that's just really interesting.
Well, here's what I have learned is
Yeah.
that intimacy takes courage because when because what I was exposing myself, right? So I was opening myself up. I had a feeling he would say yes. I really honestly didn't even imagine that he would say no. And yet I was taking a risk. Whenever we
Right.
hold out our hand, we take a risk. Somebody could
Right.
take it and shake it and kiss it, or somebody could slap it or just leave us hanging
Right.
out there. So, and that is true with intimacy, which is, I think, why intimacy wanes in long term relationships because we get comfortable and
Yes.
we don't want to take that risk of it's uncomfortable because it's untraveled terrain. It has to be in intimacy because it arises in the moment and it arises from our open hearted authenticity and sharing that with another person.
And do you feel like there's also shame surrounded around admitting like, God,
Absolutely.
this isn't where we want it to be or it used to be.
Well, of
So
course.
I feel like there's an avoidance then. You just keep avoiding the topic because there's shame wrapped around it, whether that's from yourself shame, from society, you see the movies,
Exactly.
all of that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So many have been suffering in silence, including myself. I mean, I was silent, but I didn't feel silent inside. And I wasn't silent in the couple, right? So I was like really bitchy.
Right.
So, like, so it wasn't, but to the outside world, it's like, we're not going to talk about that until now because we have to talk about this because nobody tells us this, nobody teaches us this. So we're learning this together. And this practice, I feel like it was, the the gods, the whoever was the universe saying this is what human beings and couples are really needing at this time in the human evolution. And
Yes.
we really need this right now. And so um So I'm just grateful. And I feel like, and what happened was we started having this weekly practice. So it was no longer about, am I in the mood? Is he in the mood? Are we going to have sex or not? And by the way, you probably noticed our intention is not about having sex or having an orgasm. So it's not
Right. You
about
make that clear in the
goal
book.
oriented. It's
Yes.
not goal oriented.
Connecting.
It's about deepening an intimacy, connection, pleasure.
Yes.
Now, the sure thing is 100% personalizable. So if you want your intention to be orgasm, that can be your intention. That just was not our intention. Does that happen often? Absolutely. Do we often have sex? Absolutely. But it's not that goal performative orientation that so much of sex has just, that's the lowest common denominator kind of where it's gotten down to. And so you were talking about shame and that's why, and shame is used as a weapon from the society we live in, the puritanical patriarchal society that is in the air we breathe. And it's used to keep us small and to keep us quiet and to kind of squash us and shrink us down to size so we can more easily be controlled. So we do not tap into our innate sexual power, sexual expression. And because what's right here, my sexual energy and source is the same source as creativity. It's the same source of those of us who are in, have wombs where if we did grow a child, where we grow any kind of creative project or vision, that's how we manifest. And so, of course, the powers that be are going to want to know, we want to disconnect people, especially women, from this most potent energy of empowerment and expression and saying no and yes and getting things done and really creating what we really, really want.
Yes. Okay, and we're going to obviously go into the sure thing and the practice, but the other question I also wanted to ask, because you brought up accountability. I'm laughing at myself because I'm also in fitness and nutrition, and I call myself an accountability coach. There have been studies. If you are accountable to someone else, like we'll give up on ourselves easier than we will someone else.
That's right.
So, but the fact you use this in this realm, it never even crossed my mind, like I'm your accountability coach for fitness. Did you go to your workout? Did you go to your gym? I think that's just super interesting that you took that model of accountability in this aspect of your life. And it makes sense.
Yeah.
But I've never heard of that before.
We're making this up together. And I think you're going to be the first sure thing accountability coach.
Oh my God.
May it be so. Let's go. Let's do this. Because, did you do your workout? Did you eat your healthy food? Did you have your weekly pleasure practice? Come on.
There you go. There you go. Okay, so I have so many questions, but let's go right into what is the sure thing practice? And then what does the weekly structure look like? I know you said it can be really whatever it can be solo too, correct?
Absolutely. That's correct.
Right? So let's narrow it down so people really get the concept of what the sure thing is and what this weekly practice is.
Yes. So it begins, like I said, with an intention. So you imagine what is your biggest wish and dream for your sensual, sexual self, for your intimacy with your partner. Okay, you come up with that. Now, you could have the same intention as your partner, or you could have a different one. That's fine. It doesn't have to be the same. Doesn't have to be the same.
I'm sure it's often not the same, actually.
It's often not the same.
Right.
And often it is the same.
Right.
So it just depends.
Sure.
And so, but yes, we are sovereign. We are sovereign in our sexuality. We are in our own self-authority, and we are 100% responsible for our own pleasure. And that's one of the things that is so empowering about this, the sure thing. So yes, you identify what it is that you want. What do you want to, what will be fulfilling for you in the realm of sensual embodiment and delight? Okay, so you identify that. You invite your partner into it, they have their own, or you have the same intention. You schedule it. Okay, Saturdays, whatever day is right for you. Okay, and so it could be the same time every week if that works. You just work it out with your own schedule, but you commit to having this weekly practice. And then it's a practice. So, okay, it's 12 o'clock on Saturday, let's say. This is in the calendar, whether or not it's, officially there, but this is the time. So it's not about, oh, I'm not in the mood, I don't feel like it, I'm so tired, I just want to watch another one of these shows, but I haven't done my workout yet, or I didn't, whatever.
It's literally the gym. You cannot rely on motivation and how you feel, period.
It's the same thing.
It literally is. That's why my mind is like blown because I've never thought of this. Like, okay, go on.
So then what do? You either turn towards it. If you're practicing the solo, sure, you have yourself, or you turn to your partner. One of the ways you can always start is ask yourself, if you're practicing with yourself, or ask your partner, what would be most pleasurable right now? And then one of you answers that question, or you answer it for yourself. And then you lovingly give that to yourself and let that begin your practice. What would be most pleasurable? Maybe it'd be most pleasurable for me to take a bath.
And I was thinking a nap. Like a nap.
Maybe, you take a nap with, maybe you lie down and you're holding hands with your partner and you're just lying down. You're lying down, but you're doing it together. You are tired. That's fine. Follow. It's not about forcing and pushing. It's about opening and responding. And so sometimes Bill and I we'll go into the bedroom and we'll just lie in the bed and hold hands and just breathe together and then just see what arises. And then you see what would be most pleasurable right now. You can use that as like the guiding question throughout your practice. And until you feel fulfilled, then you're complete. And you just continue until you feel fulfilled, whatever your intention is. So like I said, sometimes with Bill and I, it's very quick because he's got a work call, something's going on, and this is the time that we have. But we have fulfilled from the moment we end, even if it's only 10 minutes, I feel more in my body, more pleasure, and more connected with him, and we've cultivated deeper intimacy. And so it's like, okay, bingo, check. We did our sure thing. And then the next week, it may be all night. Our kid is sleeping, has a sleepover, and we have a whole, thing that's planned where we're bringing food in to feed each other in bed, and we have a whole, experience together.
Right. What do you say to the person who says, oh, but scheduling is just that's not romantic. That's not sexy. Have you ever heard someone say that to you?
Of course. Yeah. Of course. It's a practice. So like any practice, you have a workout practice, right? People have meditation practices. You have yoga practices. You have a therapy practice. Anything that you do that you find benefit that you do regularly that benefits your life, I call that a practice. If you want to have reliable, ongoing intimacy and sexual fulfillment, sensual fulfillment, this practice will fulfill on that desire. So it's having the reliability.
Yes.
What creates the container that all kinds of surprising and wondrous things arise in it. It's because of that container that you can rely on. And what I've discovered and what has happened to many clients is that what opens up, because like I said, our creative center is the sexual center. They're one and the same. And so I call her Viv, Viv, my wild sensual self. Just all of a sudden, every week, the canvas was her bedroom, and all these wild requests were coming out of my mouth. That I was like, holy wow! I didn't even know I had that desire, but I do. It turns out, yeah, that sounds like fun. Let's try that. And so this whole persona inside of myself who I had had like glimpses of from brief sexual encounters and when I was younger, all of a sudden had this reliable place to show up and shine and be embodied and bring it. And so it has opened up a whole exploration for me outside of the bedroom with embodied experiences. So I learned how to ski in my 50s. After I started training in Aikido, and my goal is by the
Amazing.
time I'm 60 to be a black belt.
Do it.
I'm doing it.
Do it.
I'm I've got 2.5 years. We're going. So I love it. And so all sorts of things, even though it may not seem like, oh, it's not sexy, oh, it's reliable, and be open and be curious and be willing to be surprised. And let me add, because I don't know if your listeners or you, Melissa, know about, this was a massive game changer for me, because even when we started and it was like, okay, I love practices, and when I commit and my spouse the same, it's like, okay, we're going to do this. We're committed to this. And sometimes it was like, I'm just not in the mood at all. I just have no interest. I'm not turned on. No.
Right.
So then a couple of months into us doing our sure thing, I learned about spontaneous desire and responsive desire.
Ooh, okay. Do tell.
This is so good. Spontaneous desire is when you see someone, you see your spouse maybe in the morning, or or something turns you on and you have a fantasy about having a sexual encounter in the future.
Gotcha.
And so that's what we see in Hollywood movies, right? Like there's this upwelling of passion.
Or Heated Rivalry. Have you watched Heated Rivalry?
I've heard a lot about it, but exactly. Like that, it's like,
oh yeah.
Right?
Very quickly. Minute one. But go ahead.
Yes,
got it.
I'm excited to see this show. So that's spontaneous desire, and that's what I always thought, that's how sex is supposed to happen. Like, it's supposed to, somebody has this upwelling of lust and passion, and then, the other partner gets into it, and then that's what happens.
Totally.
Well,
right.
There's like the majority of us, and the majority of time, often we have both have responsive desire. Responsive desire arises in the context of safety, of connection, of pleasure. So responsive desire is what often happens when we're lying there holding hands on the bed, let's say, or we're dancing to our Sure Thing playlist, and I'm just grooving to the funky tune, and all of a sudden, I'm like, ooh, baby, it would feel really good if you kissed my neck right there. But 10 minutes before, I was on the couch going, oh God, I'm just so not even interested. But the responsive desire is desire that responds and arises out of a situation where it's pleasurable.
I'm going to be the parallels, because fitness is a big aspect of my life. I mean, it is no different. It literally is. Well, two things. When I work with clients, I don't have time. I'll say, let's look at your phone and look how many minutes you've scrolled. Me too. Like you know what I mean? So, and you're saying this can be 10 minutes.
That's right.
It doesn't have to be marathon hours.
No.
That's number one. And then number two, I mean, I have said so many times, it's literally just goes back to showing up sometimes is the hardest part. So keeping this in your regard, this weekly practice at the same time, the same day, is probably one of the hardest parts, because we have 20, especially moms, 20 million things going on, right? But you just show up, and I can literally think of the times where I did not want to work out. I didn't feel like working out. I just showed up at the gym, and you know what? Sometimes those ended up being my best workouts ever.
Right.
So it's not what I like about what you've also said is that it doesn't always have to be about orgasm or the big finale or this. It's not the end. You're not focused on the end. You're focused on the process and in the moment. And I do think in our lives, just in general, it's so hard for all of us with all the distractions of phones and social media, to be present.
That's right. That's right. And this practice is about cultivating that as much
Yes.
as we can. And really, of course, where else are we going to begin? Begin exactly where we are. And sometimes we're going to
And
be
keep it simple.
more present than other
Yes.
times. But what happens is we build the muscle of presence because we're turning towards pleasure, we're turning towards our bodies, we're listening, we're turning towards our partners. And so we're building that muscle of being able to be present in the present moment with
Yes.
ourselves, with each other. Yeah.
Yes. What I love about your book and why you insist on that this is an interactive playbook, it's not just a to-do list, right? Is because after every chapter, you have exercises, practices, reflections for people to fill out, to reflect. And then you also have a love ripple. Explain, because that I've never heard of it like that. So can you explain what a love ripple is and where did you get this idea to like take action? Again, like we're inundated with this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do, blah, 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 and it's in one ear out the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how did you create that?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you that I always, the book, the vision was always to really take someone as if they're one of my friends and like be playing together in consciousness, in, exploring our bodies and exploring pleasure and exploring our desires. And so I always wanted it to be playful because it's been playful for me, to discover these parts of myself. And it is pleasure after all.
Right.
It should feel good.
Right. So my word for last year was joy. And this is the epitome of joy. So I think that's a good reminder, though, because it does get, another chore. I hate to say chore on the to-do list. And I just think back to when I had really 3 kids under 5. It was like,
wow.
Not anymore. They're now.
I understand, but still, just bow down to you that you did that.
But it's very common.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's still amazing. The love ripple. Thank you. So last summer, a friend asked, I wonder if this book is part of a bigger project. And I am really committed to healing and transforming the world.
Yes, you say that. And I want you to expand on that more too.
Yeah, that's
yes, I love that.
It's a Jewish value, really true Judaism, healing and transforming the world. And so, and I am very devoted. I'm very active in my local community and trying to make a better community here.
Beautiful.
And so I thought, okay, what is this part of a bigger movement or project or something? And then I realized, I could start the Sure Thing Love Experiment. Could a weekly pleasure practice change the world? It's changed my world. It continues to change my world. Could it change the whole world? How many practitioners would it take? All of these questions to really shift our society from one of domination and power over and greed to one of collaboration and community and kindness and compassion and all of that stuff that we know is so possible. So that's where the love ripples came in. So what the love ripple is, it's a small doable action, invitation, I would say, at the end of each chapter, so that you can take something that inspired you, something that you may have learned from that chapter out into the world, and to begin to practice and build this muscle of intimacy and love and connection. And so I wanted to give people like practice, because if we don't practice, it's not going to become part of our lives and part of, our experience.
Right. And to create a habit, because it really does need to become a habit.
That's right.
What is the science? You need 21 consecutive days of doing the same thing to actually create a habit. And you guys, like one of the love ripples was like, just pick up the phone and tell 3 people what you love about them or what you admire about them. And what's fascinating about doing something like that? The one doing it, it's like when you volunteer, giving that is the one that gets the biggest gift. I mean, how good does it feel to say something to someone that just out of the blue that makes them feel so happy. It's the gift of giving that to someone is amazing. So you guys, it's very simple. Again, it's very doable, simple things. And it seems to me, again, it's about creating the practice so it becomes a habit. And
it just becomes part of
yes,
your everyday,
yes,
that you're just appreciating people, telling people, when you're checking out a Trader Joe's, what you appreciate about the checker. I mean, I love just doing that with people because it's a fun conversation. People are so appreciative. People light up in the moment. And that's the other thing with that particular love ripple, I encourage you to notice how it feels for you and notice how it affects your relationship with this person. Has something changed now? Do you
yes.
feel closer to them? Did it open it like the space of intimacy?
It's so true. Even just last night, I went to the gym and I was wearing, I love you. The more you get to know me, I love accessories. Like I always have fun readers on. I love clothes, I love fashion. And I was wearing my workout clothes, but then I have it's this white, just furry jacket that one wanted to wear to the gym, but it was freezing. I just grabbed it. And I didn't want to go to the gym. It was late at night, blah, blah. I walk in and the woman checking in goes, "Oh my God, look how fabulous you are." And I like literally turned around, like, who is she talking to? Because I've walked in like a zombie. And it was me. She goes, "Look at you with your glasses and your jacket. You know what's going on," which I don't know what's going on, which is funny. I'm laughing. Literally, I just said to her, I'm like, "You made my day. I now I'm actually excited to work out. Thank you." And then afterwards, I was checking out and we just started chatting. And she's a single mother, has this autistic 5-year-old son. And I'm like, "You're doing a great job. Like, it's so hard. Motherhood's so hard." And literally, she's like my best friend now at the gym. I can't wait to see her. So it's as simple as that.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
it.
So we got to spread this through the world.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I do want to touch on in the book, you bring up resistance, and resistance is normal, is what you say. Tell me about resistance. Why does it come up in people? Is it that anything new is scary? Is it fear based? With your practice and research, what have you found in the realm of resistance?
Yeah, I think that there's let's just talk about, I like to call the archetype of the couch potato.
Yeah.
There's that couch potato, and I'm sure with your clients and your work with people, health and fitness and such, it's like sometimes it's just that inertia. You feel like you
Even
can't move on.
myself.
Of course,
I mean,
all
yes,
of
we're
us.
human.
All of us.
Yes.
So that's a factor, okay? There's, all kinds of screens and everything, obviously, times 1,000 to distract us, and to add to the resistance. It's like, no, this is like we're getting that dopamine, from just scrolling, and it's like, well, no, this feels satisfying until it really doesn't, right? Until we turn it off and then we feel so depleted. So resistance, and this is terrain that's edgy for really all of us.
Right.
Pleasure, sex, and intimacy. Because it's being present in the moment and we have to feel things. If we're going to know what we want and what feels good and what doesn't feel good, we have to stay in our bodies and really be present and be willing to say yes, yes, no, no, right? More of that, less of that.
Yeah.
So it feels like it's a lot. It's a lot to step into. And so just recognize that and appreciate that you are courageous and you got this. So when you're feeling the resistance, it's okay. It's just like resistance to going to the gym, resistance when you're first starting to work out, before, you start to get
Anything new.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, but even
It's
when I know when I'm hiking up this hill, it's like often I'm like, I just don't really want to do this today. I'm just going to go home until, you get those endorphins going. So it's the same thing with this. It's just like, it's okay. You can just say, hello, resistance. I hear you. I see you. Okay. And I have this commitment. I have this commitment to take care of my health, take care of my body. I have this commitment to take care of my sensual health. I have this
Yes.
commitment to self-love. I have this commitment to deepening in intimacy with my spouse. So I see you, I feel your resistance, and I am going to it's going to take a little effort. So I say that there are 3 things that
Yes.
that are required for any practice to be successful and to have an ongoing practice is commitment. You have to commit to it.
Yep.
Effort and devotion.
Yep.
You have to be devoted. You have to be willing to. And devotion, I love this definition of devotion is serving something you love with love. So that's why it's so important to choose an intention that really inspires you. You know, people have intentions about getting in shape, right? About getting healthy because they want to maybe live longer. They want to feel stronger. They want to do the marathon. They have an intention that inspires them, that they're devoted to, that they want to serve that intention with love. They want to be devoted to it. So it's the same with a sure thing practice. So sometimes it is going to take effort. And what I have found with that game changer of the responsive desire, number 1, knowing that I don't have to be in the mood. I don't have to feel any sexual desire or appetite at all. And number 2, as you keep doing it, the effort gets less, is what I have found.
Yes. And your intention, it has to come from within, right? You may not know how to get there, but like, for example, you really want to feel pleasure. That has to be a yearning from yourself. It can't be told from someone else. Like, you need to feel like this way. You need to get in shape. Until you have that feeling, you're just not going to do it. Last few things before we go. Tell everyone where to run out and get this book and how to work with you.
Yes.
All right. I always like to give my listeners a to-do item. So for someone listening right now who feels curious but very overwhelmed, what's one simple thing that they could do either starting today or this week?
Well, one simple thing is what I like to call the pee pump, which is, you could say it's like a Kegel, but it's a little more pleasurable. And so you're just lifting your pelvic floor and releasing. Just lift and release and lift and release.
And of course, I'm doing it as you're
of course. And so just notice. So when I do that, I mean, what do you notice, Melissa? Do that a couple times. Lift and release and lift. And you can squeeze your anus too. It's like if you're stopping a fart or stopping your urine.
Right.
Just squeeze.
And I was doing that laughing. Yeah. You just feel more relaxed with each exhale, with each release.
Yeah. I even start to feel like energy coming up the back of my spine, up in my head, like over here. So I just begin to feel energy, sensual Kundalini energy starting to roll. So something gentle like that.
Did you name it pee pump?
I did.
Okay, you did. You named it pee pump. Okay.
Yeah, like pelvic fun. I like to say pussy pump, but I wanted it to be,
you can say anything on this pod.
Great.
Well, free birds here. I run the show, and I say you can say whatever you want.
I just wanted to be inclusive in the book because not everybody is lucky enough to have a pussy, quite frankly. So the other thing is just, noticing, put your hand on your heart, be tactile with yourself, touch your face, hold your heart, give yourself a self hug. Like, if any of these sound okay, just do that. Also, this is a great one with your hands under your armpits. This is Jinshin Jitsu, the self-care.
Oh. Okay, so our hands are underneath our armpits and our thumbs are like pointing up towards our shoulders.
That's right. And just lay there, sit there. This is really good. It stimulates a lot of meridians in your body, and it's the self-help Jinshin Jitsu is kind of like acupressure approach. It's remarkable healing modality.
Oh, I love that.
So
And
this
again,
one,
so simple.
so simple.
I mean,
Simple, breast massage. I mean,
mhm.
some people, are very sensitive and it feels really good. Just holding your
Mhm.
breasts, doing something that feels pleasurable. Nobody has to know about it. You can nobody has to know about it. One more I'll say is I
Yes,
love this,
please.
and this is something I love doing out in public because nobody
Ooh.
knows this, along with the pee pump, the puss
Okay,
pump.
yes.
Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that.
Yep.
Is the making love with your tongue inside your mouth.
Okay,
How
explain.
good? Okay,
Explain.
so how good can you make the inside of your mouth feel with your tongue? So just begin to, move your tongue up on the soft palate of your mouth, behind your teeth, some flicks, some different pressure on your cheeks, and just imagine you're making love to your mouth with your tongue.
Wild.
Right? Isn't that fun?
I'm thinking of if I run into someone and I see them doing this, I'll be like, I know what you're doing. You read Alana's book. I know what you are doing. Okay. Alana, before I ask you the final question, where can everyone run to get this book and to learn more about you and to work with you? I know you offer workshops, correct? And give us all the tea.
We're going to be, so surethingexperiment.com.
Okay,
That's
surethingexperiment.com, and this will all be in the show notes as well.
Great. So that's where you can, all the links to the book, where you can get the book. Also, join the email list so you'll know about, I'm going to be launching the Spring 2026 Sure Thing Challenge. It's going to be really fun. Pleasure pods, all kinds of things are coming up. And especially if you do live in the Bay Area, I am hosting Sure Thing Shabbats on Saturdays once a month. So you'll hear all about these wonderful things. There will also be some online love laboratory experiences. So that's the best place, surethingexperiment.com. You can get the book on Amazon, the paperback, and I really highly recommend the paperback. The ebook is available at Barnes & Noble and Apple, and the paperback will be available at Barnes & Noble online.
Okay, Alana, before we leave, I ask all my guests, now what? Now what? You did just mention, workshops, experiences, but now what?
Now, I want this book baby to just be a burst of joy and inspiration and serve so many people. I really believe that this practice can nourish and sustain us through these really challenging times that we're living in, and to propel us into more acts of courageous kindness, because that's what we need. We need to stand our ground. We need to know where our line is, and we need to say enough is enough, and this is what we want, and this is how we take care of all of our babies, and this is how we take care of our earth and life. And so I want the Sure Thing Love Experiment to bring joy and ecstasy, and really, now what I love is the actual love train. You know that song by the OJs, The Love Train?
Oh, yes.
Let's create an actual love train. People all over the world, join hands. It's a love train. So
I love it.
We'll see. You'll hear about it if we actually get a love train going all over this country and beyond.
I love it. Hey, I am all about throw it out in the universe. Nothing is impossible. So I'm all for throwing it out there. Well, congratulations on this amazing book. Thank you so much for your time. And again, Gloss Squad, all the details will be in the show notes, but go out and buy The Sure Thing, a pleasure practice to revive the spark. Woo! All right.
So fun to talk to you.
Oh, it's great
pleasure.
speaking with you. Woo. Thank you so much. And I'll see you at the love train.
Oh, yeah, baby.
All right. Bye-bye. And that's it for this week. If this episode made you laugh, nod, or think, oh my God, same, hit follow or subscribe so you don't miss out on all the fun. So see you next time on Now What? And remember, midlife isn't a crisis. It's just a plot twist.